War is coming to the Grand Line. The defeat of Kaido and Big Mom has shaken up the race for the One Piece. Back in paradise, the success of Sabo's reign on Mary Joa has pushed the ongoing tensions between the world government and their vassals to a boiling point. All the pieces are in place for a conflict that will shake the world to its foundations. And while there are people who would rather not plunge all existence into a bloody mess, we should defer to the words of the Navy's current leader. When confronted by overwhelming threats on every side, what was Fleet Admiral Akainu's response? I'll drive each and every one of them back into the depths of the sea. Yeah, this is gonna get bloody. In this video, we're going to look over the coming war, its various fronts, and how things could escalate as the story goes on. Let's get into it. Part 1. War for Laugh-Tale. Goldie Roger claimed the title of Pirate King without a fight. And it's easy to forget that since Roger fought many people over the years. Whitebeard, Rocks, Shiki, but the story of his final voyage is one of daring adventure, not violent competition. He reached the end of the Grand Line and circumnavigated the planet for the first time. The One Piece wasn't something he needed to fight over. That will not be the case for the worst generation. There are many crews chasing the Pirate King's legacy, and while they've proven themselves somewhat able to collaborate, the time will come when they start fighting over this oh-so-coveted treasure. And that fighting is going to escalate. While events in Wano had removed Big Mom and Kaido from the board, now 3 prominent pirate crews have a road poneglyph collection. Law's Heart Pirates are taking the most direct course down the Grand Line, while the Kid Pirates and Straw Hats are on indirect routes. For the moment, this is looking like more of a conventional race. Kaido and Big Mom had more substantial military forces, but neither is now in a position to pursue the One Piece. Law, Kid, and Luffy each command only a single ship. And while Law may be too much of a tsundere to admit it, they have little motivation to fight each other, at least prior to reaching Laugh-Tale. Until that day dawns, the search for the One Piece is purely an adventure. However, another challenger may be about to enter the race. According to the map contained in Rurubu One Piece, Kid's current course is taking him directly towards Full Elite, home of the Blackbeard pirates. If that's accurate, Kid and his crew are likely to fall out of the running quickly. As potent as Kid is, he is not a match for Teach. He commands a single ship, while the 10 Titanic captains make up an armada. The one chance Kid's crew has comes down to timing. Right after the reverie, Blackbeard and his crew set sail for an unknown destination. If Kid can get through his business on Full Elite quickly, he might be home safe. Teach will likely have left someone behind to guard his island, but they're probably not up to his level. The Kid Pirates just have to wait out their log post's reset time and sail away. If they get captured before they can, however, once Teach returns, he will have been handed an easy entry into the race. Blackbeard getting involved in the quest for the One Piece is bad news for everyone. He's proven himself cunning and violent, more than willing to stab his enemies in the back to get whatever he wants. If he claims 2 pieces of the poneglyph puzzle from Kid, he's going to do whatever it takes to get the rest. If he learns about Zoe, the Minks may have to fend off yet another brutal attack. This time, without their old leaders there to provide guidance. Of course, this relies on the Blackbeard crew finding out where the poneglyphs are. That's time-consuming work with no guarantee of success. Blackbeard may take a more underhanded approach. He knows that Luffy wants to be Pirate King, and that means he'll gather up the 4 poneglyphs. Instead of joining the race between the Straw Hats, Heart Pirates, and Kid Pirates, all he has to do is follow the crew most likely to win. Once someone has the whole map, Teach can sail in and take it from them. Quick, easy, efficient. Of course, Shanks likely has the same idea. So would Crocodile if he's interested in the One Piece. The last road poneglyph is likely where the search for the Pirate King's throne escalates into a full-blown war. Some groups will try to secure the information on it, while others try to steal a completed set of poneglyph copies. If even one party manages to decipher the road poneglyphs, the others could pursue them to Laugh-Tale by simply following their course. This could turn into a protracted battle across the end of the Grand Line, with multiple fleets trying to reach the end while locked in combat. Even in our world, a fight like that would be awe-inspiring. In the One Piece world, it is going to be downright insane. For a start, we'll finally see Blackbeard versus Luffy. The light and liberation of Joy Boy pitted against the crushing inevitability of the Yami Yami no Mi. That is bound to be a fight bigger than Luffy versus Kaido. A clash for the ages with the title of King of the Pirates on the line. And it only gets crazier when you look at who else could join the fray. If Cross Guild got involved, Mihawk and Crocodile would be potent combatants. Blackbeard has already recruited most of his captains from Impel Down, so he might be arrogant enough to bust Doflamingo out. Doflamingo only works for himself, but he was a warlord. He'll play along if it suits him. Shanks has recently decided to finally go after the One Piece, and was a Yonko even prior to the time skip. He has certainly made allies in the New World, perhaps even among the Giants of Elbaf. And then, along with all the allies and powerhouses in play, we get to the ancient weapons. Like it or not, the battleship Pluton is now confirmed to be an easy reach. It is in sunken Wano, and Momonosuke plans to open the borders eventually. As Shogun of Wano, he has the men to restore it to a seaworthy state. If he does, Wano could send one of the greatest ships ever built to join the Straw Hat Grand Fleet with Yamato as its captain. Or perhaps Blackbeard manages to get his hands on it first. That would present a major problem for these Straw Hats. Water 7 tradition states that nothing can stop Pluton. Their one safeguard was the blueprint set, meant to enable them to construct a copy that would hold it off. But since Frankie burnt those blueprints, Luffy and the crew are going to have to get creative. Say by asking for assistance from another ancient weapon. Poseidon, or Princess Shirahoshi if you're feeling formal, can command the Sea Kings en masse. Even if no ship can equal Pluton, an armada of giant sea monsters might just be enough. Even the Noah could come into play. It has been heavily damaged, but it is a similarly mythical ship. If the Sea Kings have managed to repair it, the people of Fishman Island will have their own mythical vessel to bring to the final conflict. And now before we get into the rest of the war, remember to check that you are subscribed to the channel, you've rung the notification bell, and hit that like button for your daily dose of plot armor. Now, what more is there to the One Piece finale beyond, the search for the One Piece? Part 2. Siege of Mary Joa. You see, all that stuff around Laugh Tale, it's ultimately half of the war that is coming up. The larger bit of the fight has already started, courtesy of Sabo and the Revolutionary Army. The Chief of Staff rescued Kuma from Mary Joa. He destroyed the Celestial Hoof Monument, and then he defeated Fujitora and Ryokugyu. After all that, Sabo apparently decided to keep his win streak going. His 8-nation revolution has seen rebellion against the world government spread like wildfire. For the first time since it was founded, the world government has a force ready and willing to fight them. While the Navy and Admirals are formidable powers, the Revolutionary Army is able to match them in battle. By far the best example of that is their number 2 in command, Sabo, who has come out on top against 2 admirals at once and escaped the most heavily defended city in the world. There is a reason he's become the face of the army at this point. As much as their leader Monkey D. Dragon prefers shadows and subtlety, Sabo seems to be more of a showman. His new Devil Fruit powers suit him well. It's worth remembering, however, that Sabo has 5 commanders serving under him that are all formidable, and all trained in observation and armament hockey. Karasu, the northern commander with what seems to be a crow-type Zoan fruit. Bello Betty, who can use her Kobu Kobu no Mi to create a battle-ready army out of terrified civilians with sticks. Morley of the West ate the Oshi Oshi no Mi, giving her the ability to shape earth like clay. And she's a giant. With her strength, the amount of terrain she can reshape has to be massive. Lindbergh, the southern commander, has no known Devil Fruit, but doesn't need one. His jetpack and cool shooter make him a formidable sniper even without one. When a Mink develops a combat style that rules out using their Sulong form, you should be worried. They don't need their trademark super mode to take you down. And then there's the final commander, holding sway over the army's forces in the Grand Line. Emperor Ivankov. We've only seen the other commanders in combat briefly, but Evo fought at Impel Down and Marineford beside Luffy. He more than pulled his own weight throughout the Summit War. If the other commanders are equivalent in strength to the Queen of Nukama, the Revolutionary Army is going to be powerful with or without Sabo. And at the top is their leader, the world's worst criminal, Supreme Commander Monkey D. Dragon himself. While we still know precious little about Luffy's father, he's been directly fighting the world government for many years. Any child who survived Garp's parenting techniques has to be pretty resilient. The leader of the Revolutionary Army has shown himself to be a patient, shrewd commander, not content to rest on his laurels or take victory as assumed. He's sharp too, choosing battles he can win first and foremost. It's a powerhouse team, a crew of big league fighters that cover all the bases you'll need in a fight. But the revolutionaries are going to have their work cut out for them going forward, because an all-out war against the world government is going to prove demanding. Yes, the Navy is at a low point. They're distracted, hunted by cross-guild backed pirates, and unable to easily enforce the world government's law. But the foundation of their power is still very much intact. The Admiralty aren't going anywhere, and their members are gods of the battlefield. The Revolutionary Army commanders fought Ryokugyu and Fujitora and Mary Joa, and it was a draw. The rebels just managed to get away. Add in Kizaru, and things start to look dicey for Dragon's team. Now to be fair, the revolutionaries didn't have their leader with them for that fight. But the 3 main admirals are not the peak of marine power either. For one thing, you still have Garp. The legendary hero may be retired, but he's still doing assignments, like protecting guests to the Reverie. He's not going to stand by and let the Navy fall without a fight. Neither is the Special Science Group, the world government's replacement for the Warlord system, headed by Dr. Vegapunk. While still mysterious, this is the man that created the Pacifistas, probably the strongest military unit the Navy can deploy for the moment. And they have kept improving them over time. If Vegapunk has more weapons in his arsenal, which he likely does, the Revolutionary Army will be hard pressed to keep up. And even if you think Garp's moral doubts will keep him neutral, and the Pacifistas will be dealt with, there is no way in hell Fleet Admiral Akainu is going to go down without one hell of a fight. The man who killed Ace is one of the strongest combatants in the One Piece world. willing to go toe-to-toe with Whitebeard himself. He took command of the Marines through battle, defeating Admiral Kuzan in an epic 10-day confrontation that left the island of Punk Hazard a bizarre wasteland. There is no one out there we can safely define as stronger than the Red Dog of the Navy. He was even willing to fight Shanks and Marineford. The only reason that didn't happen was Sengoku accepting the peace offer. But now that he is in the highest Navy position, it is all or nothing. Akainu and his absolute justice are going to be a major obstacle for the Revolutionary Army, and yet he's likely not the end of the fight for Dragon. After all, the seat of the world government is not Navy headquarters, it is Mary Joa. Unfortunately, we still know precious little about the city atop the Red Line. Sabo and his crew were successfully able to infiltrate it and retrieve Kuma with stealth, but that's not enough to conquer the home of the Celestial Dragons. Going off of what we do know, the city will be almost impossible to take by force. Situated atop the Red Line, the only option for approach is the Bondola system. These are controlled by the world government from the summit. Even if the Revolutionary Army were able to capture one via infiltration, they'd only be able to move a handful of troops into Mary Joa at a time. Perhaps they would be able to circumvent the Red Line. We have seen a few people pull that off. Fisher Tiger and Germa 66's Citycraft both managed it. Dragon might be able to come up with his own trick of a similar type. Even so, the battle will be beyond harsh. Mary Joa will have all the defenses money can buy. While the world nobles themselves are far from warriors, their holy knights can likely mount a more significant defense. Plus, there's one final danger lurking atop the Red Line, and it is something even Dragon may be blind to: the mysterious treasure Doflamingo mentioned to Law. While its nature is unknown, Doflamingo claims it had the power to give him control of the world. If the Celestial Dragons turn this mysterious power against the Revolutionary Army, all their progress may fall away in a single stroke. Part 3. Great War. So thus far, we've gone over two separate conflicts: the struggle between the Yonko over the next Pirate King, and the Revolutionary Army's uprising against the world government. At the present, these seem like two very different conflicts. How exactly are they going to fit together? It's too early to be sure, but there's lots of potential ways for the two sides of this war to intersect. For a start, there is the Marine concept of absolute justice. Akainu believes in doing what is right, irrespective of the cost. With him serving as Fleet Admiral, that goes for the entire Navy. Even though they are embroiled in the 8-Nation Revolution, the Marines are likely to try to put down the Yonko. Goldie Rogers started the Golden Age of Piracy, and the Navy will pull out all the stops to prevent the rise of a second Pirate King. They even have a fleet ready to intervene. CP0 learned as much during the Battle of Onigashima. Rob Lucci had brought together a number of ships with plans to invade Wano if Kaido lost. However, this was before the world government mysteriously changed their minds. For some reason, CP0 were unexpectedly ordered to assassinate Luffy, disregarding their invasion plans. Following Kaido's loss and Luffy's survival, it is likely the world government will repurpose Lucci's fleet towards trying to take down the Straw Hats. On the other side of the coin, Luffy has strong ties to the Revolutionary Army. Even beyond his father leading them, he is Sabo's brother and has fought beside Ivankov at length. And Robin pretty much spent the entire time skip with them. Either side could assist the other if the chance came up. Luffy isn't one for thinking about the big picture. He could easily end up getting involved in the war purely due to wanting to help his old friends. Even if Luffy doesn't cross paths with Ivankov or Sabo, however, the Yonko conflict could easily end up spiraling into the Revolutionary Army's war. The One Piece, after all, was left behind by Joy Boy. While the relationship between him and the world government remains somewhat unclear, the world government has been trying to hunt down his devil fruit for over 800 years. Awakening the power of Nika has been said to make Luffy a new Joy Boy. Whatever has been left on Laugh Tale is likely to prove disastrous for the world government. Should they learn the truth of it, the Navy could send every ship in their fleet to try and destroy Laugh Tale. It would be the Buster Call to end all Buster Calls. Then again, we could flip that around. Perhaps the pirates are going to end up attacking the Navy instead once they see what Roger had on Laugh Tale. Roger knows that he and his crew were too early for it, and that the One Piece is something for Joy Boy's era. Perhaps what remains on Laugh Tale is the story of the One Piece, what it is, and the exact location where it lies. After all, there is a mysterious treasure hidden in Mary Joa. Joy Boy's last trick could have been instructions on just what that treasure is and how to retrieve it. If so, the world government and Revolutionary Army could both be rudely interrupted by 4 warring bands of pirates crashing through the battle lines in one final scramble for the One Piece. Part 4. Consequences. So, fun times. We've got big dramatic battles ahead for the Straw Hats to show their A-game. It's gonna be a ton of fun, right? We'll be getting everyone coming back together. All of Luffy's allies and friends will join forces to push through the world government and claim the One Piece. Right? Well, yes and no. It's going to be fun, it's going to be exciting, but let's get real here. One Piece isn't above taking a darker turn. That goes double when it comes to a more epic, serious storyline. Just look at how dark it's gotten up to this point. Despite Luffy going all out and doing his best to save him, Ace died in Marineford all the same. Nico Robin's home was burned to the ground. her family, and millennia of history reduced to ashes by uncaring fools. After finally being reunited, the Red Scabbards are betrayed by Kanjuro, who spits on their friendship and memory. One Piece is an adventure, but an adventure needs stakes, a chance for things to go wrong. So as we draw towards this final saga, the plot armor protecting these secondary characters is going to grow weaker. The Straw Hat crew are in a strong position when it comes to claiming the One Piece. Even beyond the Grand Fleet, they have made a ton of allies over the course of their adventures. But in wartime, that presents a problem. There are a lot of people Luffy cares about that are likely to now be in the line of fire. Even worse, to his enemies, they might become easy targets. The Straw Hats defend their friends. It is a very important point to Luffy. He brings it up very clearly when leaving Wano. Attacking their friends is attacking them. A cunning adversary could take advantage of that. If you want to delay the Sunny from reaching Laugh Tale, have some of your minions launch an attack on one of those nations Luffy helped save. He will go and defend them. He'll probably wipe out whoever you sent to launch the attack. But while he's busy protecting his friends, he won't be bothering you. Fishman Island and Wano now fly the Straw Hat flag openly. An attack on either would be a surefire way to draw Luffy away from the path to Laugh Tale. The isolation of Fishman Island makes it an unlikely target, however. Ship coding would be tough to organize. Wano is a minor diversion, far closer to the end of the Grand Line. It's not enough to buy you much time against the Straw Hats. Arabasta would be the perfect diversion, but it is too far removed. It's hard for anyone in the New World to stage an attack on it, let alone for Luffy to get back there to help. An attack on Zou might work to lure the crew away, but it presents problems. Not only is the giant elephant mobile, the Mink inhabitants have proven highly resilient. They would be able to defend themselves even without the Straw Hats. That leaves a single promising target for Luffy's foes, Dressrosa. The Kingdom of Peace has been rebuilding since Doflamingo's reign. They're likely still not at a point where they are well prepared to defend themselves. It was saved by Luffy, very publicly so. They don't fly the Straw Hat flag, but Luffy's defeat of Doflamingo made international news. It's in the New World too, but some distance removed from Laugh Tale and Wano. An attack would probably draw the Straw Hat crew back to try and help their friends. That could buy Luffy's enemies a crucial lead in the race for the One Piece. But we'll just have to wait and see. And if there's anything in particular you want to see from the final war, please let us know down below. As always, I'm Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.